MovAVI review. This is my review of the video editing software MovAVI, which you might think it's MovAVI. So I've been using this software for a long time, perhaps more than 10 years, maybe 10 or 15 years. I don't like the interface. It only has basic features. A lot of features are missing. And the interface used to be better many years ago, but then they suddenly changed it to make it more logo oriented and graphical oriented, and I don't like what they changed it into. The software is for intermediate users. So it's not a basic video editing program, it's more intermediate. It's not a professional software program like Sony Vegas or Adobe Premiere. Some of the features are not very useful. For example, I never got the stabilization to work. The trim video never really worked. It didn't work properly. Often the software will not convert my videos, and I have to change the configuration and start again. So I'll go and try to convert a video, and it won't work, and then you'll have to choose a different codec, or MP4 is called a container, and maybe there's like a 1-pass and a 2-pass. So I often have to go and change the settings in order to try to make something render. I don't like the default settings because the default settings are for beginners or for sharing on the internet. I want something for professional video conversion. Now, the secret to editing video is you want to use what's called a native codec. That should be the default setting. And what that means is that when you edit the video, it produces it using an exact copy frame by frame of the original. But that's not what this does by default. By default, it reduces the quality. It might put it in a format that you don't want or a codec that you don't want, when instead it should match the codec of the original, match the format, the container of the original. If you go with MPEG-4, the default setting should be to render MPEG-4, but it doesn't do that. And to match the quality settings of the original. Trim feature never worked. I am running an old version, and they do updates frequently. I'm running version 17.3. So I think the way they did it was there's something called a keyframe, and I think they did the trim based on the keyframe, but it wasn't frame by frame accurate. So I would go and do trims, and it wouldn't look good. It wasn't being done properly, but like I said, they might have fixed it. The primary reason I use it is because of batch conversion, and I can configure some of the codecs. It doesn't have a lot of codecs, but it's got enough. And the batch conversion, it lets me do 20 videos at a time. Usually what I'm doing is I'm removing the audio. I am perhaps changing the resolution, or sometimes I have to put it into a different codec. A lot of times I'm joining all the files together. When you join them all together, you want the same resolution, same codec, same container, same quality, and the default settings are not doing that. Tried many different video conversion programs. This one was the most reliable when I tried them 10 or 15 years ago. I think that this software was public domain, and they took a public domain program and they modified the code and made their own version. There's many companies that did the same thing, so they all look the same 10 or 15 years ago. They all had the same features, the same codecs, but as the years went by, they added new features, and the software started to diverge. But again, that was a long time ago. I've used Photoshop Elements, Sony Vegas, and Wondershare, and I've used Adobe Premiere. Sony Vegas used to be really good, But then they changed it to kind of like dumb down the interface, and it was horrible interface when they changed it. Photoshop Elements crashes all the time. I've got it installed and it just won't run. And Wondershare, for some reason, this one I thought was the better choice because back then, 10 or 15 years ago, lots of problems. Because, like I said, Wondershare might have been the same public domain program as this one, and they made their own versions, and MovAVI just did it better. When I chose this program, there were few video conversion programs available. Many of them were rewrites of public domain video conversion software. Although I do recommend it, I am searching for a better batch video conversion program. It works. It creates videos that I'm happy with. However, it misses a few things that I want. It doesn't have any good effects, and cleaning the videos is important to me. It does a little bit of cleaning. I want things to be more automated. I don't want to have to go through by hand and change the settings. They've got something called like Magic Enhance, for example. It's okay, but I still have to do it by hand. I want like the cartoon plugin where it makes the video look like a cartoon, and can't find it on any program. So for conversion, it's okay. Doesn't have a wide variety. Like it doesn't convert from anything to anything, but it's got enough. And for ease of use, sometimes it doesn't work. You got to rerun it. It's no big deal. And I don't like the interface because you see all the empty space over here, and I can only view 4 videos. But what if I'm working on 20 videos? To take the top video and move it to the bottom is a pain because of the way they set it up. They should have done it differently. They should have made it like YouTube where all the videos are going across. I don't need all this information where it says no subtitles or the file name and all that. They should have done a better job with the layout using a grid. I'm going to go through this real quick. The interface, I've gotten used to it. The star means that there's been a modification. It's got the H.265, which is really good, but I don't know if anybody uses it, so you can't really use it. The resolution, this is 4K resolution, and when I started using it, it was difficult to find conversion software with 4K resolution. Took a long time when I got my camera to find the software that would work with it. So luckily, this one was able to do it. That was one of the big selling points when I got it. It doesn't default to the best quality. I have to keep on adjusting it. And I don't use the audio. I don't care about subtitles. And the edit's fine. Moving, if you got a long list, it's a pain in the butt. I've done 340 clips. Couldn't use this software to do it. I had to write my own program to do it. See over here on the bottom, it says output format custom. Absolutely no use to me. What does custom mean? It's supposed to say MP4, what codec it uses, what the resolution is. They've got all this space to put all that information, and they don't do it. They just put custom and an asterisk. So that I don't like. Progress bar is fine. And the option to join is very useful. So the stabilization never worked for me. I ended up buying a third-party stabilization program that's pretty good. Audio I don't use. I strip the audio usually. The adjustments. I do use these adjustments because the auto contrast, auto white balance, magic enhance aren't that great. It doesn't do it the way I want it to look. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but I've got lots of software that does a better job than these features. Noise removal, I use it. I don't know if it's making a difference. I don't know. So, never use a watermark. Crop, I think there's a problem with the crop, but I don't remember what it is. Maybe, I don't remember. Rotate, I'm not going to use. The trim, when I was using it doesn't work because I think it trims only on keyframes. It's not frame by frame. Even if it said it did, it didn't. So it is kind of easy to use. You apply to all files, you apply here. Part on the bottom is not perfect. We got a little bit of work to do on that. This is how you do the settings. I often have to use motion JPEG because it's reliable. This part works great. Letterboxing was something that we used to do many years ago. People don't do it anymore. But 20 years ago, we would do it because they didn't have the ability to resize properly or to scale. Bitrate type, I don't think it matches. I think this is a program where you could choose your bitrate and it just won't do it. So why have the feature? Frame rate I've never checked, but I always use the default for NTSC anyway. So I'm not happy with this feature. The two-pass system usually doesn't work, usually crashes for me. Okay, so that's all I have to say about MovAVI. Is it worth the money? I don't know how much it costs. It's like $30. I would say, yeah, I think it's worth the money. I don't buy the upgrades. I have paid for upgrades. This is not the first version. I probably upgraded it 3 or 4 times. But this is June of 2022 that I wrote this. Now August of 2022. They allow you to upgrade. They give you a little bit of an announcement when you load up. I don't like the fact that they have the little pop-up because I want to start working right away, and it delays me working right away. I think it's worth $30. I don't know if the upgrades are worth it. I think they charge too much for the upgrades because what they give you for the upgrade is too little. So that's my review. If you want to come back later, if a lot of time has passed since August of 2022, it's possible I might have written more on my review. You can add your comments. Go to cheapbooks.cc. You probably want to look for MovAVI over here in the search box, and you'll be able to find the review. I plan on doing reviews, a review section for all sorts of video editing software, so you'll be able to find more. If you have any questions or comments, please post below.